thought I should give another short update on where we're at. So obviously I have the cab laying on its back there on my rolling table. I used the manual chain fall as well as the electric hoist there to lift it up. And what I did is I just hooked a couple of straps in the front lower fender mounts on the bottom of the cab to help me upset it. And it was just a slow process when you're by yourself. And then I put a strap around the cab on the top corner there so that it couldn't slip off and allow the cab to flip off the table backwards. So just where we're at, got the floor pans done, and they went in relatively easy. I think I showed before that I got the cab corners done as well. So while I had it up on the back of the cab, there was some holes in the floor where they had bucket seats bolted to, I believe. So I went ahead and filled those, and there was a couple other little holes that I'm not sure what the reasoning was behind them, but I filled them as well. And there's, you can see there's a few more there on the other side. And before I flip this back over, there is one on the top of the cab. I'm not sure what that was from, but I'll get that one before I flip it over. And then there's a couple of smaller ones here on the back of the cab, on the sides as well as the bottom, and those I know what they were from. Back when I had the truck, I had a gun rack mounted in there, and that's what those two holes are, or 4 holes I guess they'll be, are from. So I'll do the one on the roof there before I flip it back over. So on the bottom, I took a bunch of pictures and of the process through, but this is pretty much finished. I've got one more coat of undercoating that I want to put on it, but what I did is I cleaned the bottom of the cab off real well. It was undercoated before, so what I did there, I tried to scrape it and it was a little bit tough, so I tried a spot. I just soaked it with Varsol, left it overnight, and I come the next day and it scraped right off right down to clean metal. So I did that with the rest of it where it was undercoated. And what I thought was rust in a lot of places on here, when I was prepping it, was actually brown primer, a fairly thick brown primer. So once I seen what the deal was there, then it wasn't near as bad. So I cleaned it all up and got it ready for undercoating. So what I did was the seams here, along on here, there's a sealer, automotive seam sealer. So I put that sealer on anywhere that I did any welding, and worked it in with what they call an acid brush. It's just a little paintbrush looking thing, and I worked it in good with that. So I got it in anywhere that I had welded on. The patches down here and stuff like that. I got it all in there. Let it dry or get a skin to it. Then I went and undercoated all the edges, so along places like this here and down on the bottom here I would do the angles, and I got coating in all of the corners, and then I undercoated the whole thing going over top of that. So I'm hoping that it's going to do a good job and it's going to stay on. It looks good at this point, and like I say, I've got another coat to put on yet. Here is one of the holes that I filled. So that's what it looks like on the bottom. There's another one there, and so once it's undercoated, it looks all right. And that'll be about it for now. I'll give it another coat and plug a few more holes and then flip this back over. Cab mounts, I'm hoping that the holes are all going to line up on that. So once this is flipped over and I'm done filling the holes, I'm actually going to bring the frame in and make sure that it actually does fit back on the frame and holes line up and things like that before we get too far along. So the next time I come across some stuff that needs to be updated, I'll make another video. Well, I'm just getting ready to turn this cab back over so it's sitting upright. I just want to show that I filled a couple of the gun rack holes. Probably easiest to do it now when it's laying on its side. And got the one on the top there as well. And it went pretty good. I was very careful for heat, making sure that I cooled it down with air so I didn't get much warpage. And it appears that it worked all right. Another repair that I did was over on the passenger side, or sorry, driver's side. There was a piece here that was rusted out, and I thought it would be alright to leave it to the last patch because it was fairly easy to get at. But once I started into it, I had to go back quite a ways before I found good metal, so it probably is one that I should have done a little bit earlier before I did the bottom. Anyway, I got it done, and I just put some primer on it. One thing I learned the other day, that black paint I was using reacts with the seam sealer, and basically the seam sealer peels the black paint right off. So I'm just leaving it with this etched primer on it for now, and when it comes time to seal everything up when I'm done, then I don't have to worry about that. Another thing I found a little funny the other day when Blake and Jason were over here. They come in the shop, and right away they asked me, Blake asked me, well, how come you got the windows covered? And I said, well, it's because it gets so hot in here from the sun coming in there that it just, it makes you sweat like crazy in here. So I said, I put that over it. I'm pretty sure that he thought that it was so that people couldn't look in and see what my project was. And the other reason, of course, is whenever you're cutting and grinding near the glass, you run the risk of getting the sparks melted into the glass, and that's something you have to deal with for forever after that. So, but it's cooling off now. I'll probably be taking these down, and because my next part of the project won't be at this end of the shop and cutting and grinding so much. So yeah, that's about all I wanted to tell you. And this is the top of the roof on the outside, and the roof on this truck is actually in real good shape. There's no dents or anything like that, so it's fairly fortunate there. So I'm just going to get ready to flip it back over, and I might get Marlene to take a video of that just to show how it's done. That's it for now.